So I think familiars can be very underutilized. So often you see them sent out as party scouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all they're used for. It's generally a flying familiar. It might pick up the druid and spider form occasionally to infiltrate hard to find places. Otherwise, they just fly around, get stabbed immediately, and then the party has to go in. But what a lot of people don't build upon is the personality of the familiar. It's generally taken as a very basic. It scouts, it dies very quickly, and that's it.
Yeah, there's so many different uses that you can utilise it for. And there's some spells that even benefit them as well. Like you can utilise them because you can cast some spells from your familiar as well.
Yep. It's not a case of they don't. The familiar should almost feel as an extra party member. It should have its own goals, personality quirks. So we had Tiny Smog the Pseudo Dragon in our campaign. And Tiny Smog was a very greedy blue Pseudo Dragon. But after the first couple of sessions of having him in game, he probably became everyone's favourite party member.
Definitely.
But for all the weird shit he got up to. When you attended Strahd's dinner in the Ravenloft, he felt this is a little bit of DM fiat on my part, because the Find Familiar spell for a Warlock says that the familiar will never disobey. But I had Tiny Small make a Wisdom saving throw, failed, and he abandoned you guys to go explore the rest of the castle. And I'd given Strahd a pet pseudo dragon. And the two ended up in a battle, flying through the castle. They went in one window, out the other window, and Tiny Smog the Pseudo Dragon had a solo combat with another Pseudo Dragon, and it's not difficult to build on these things to flesh out essentially another fully functional NPC. Tiny Smog had very simple goals. He liked treasure. That was about the extent of his motivations. You know, whenever you got a treasure hoard, he'd always dash in. And when I published your list of treasure after the game, there'd be always one thing on there. Tiny Smalls has dibsed this. It generally not the most expensive thing, but something that looks interesting to him. He also borrowed money from Jane.
He also had a sort of self-grandiose sort of personality as well. He always saw himself as the one that deserves everything.
But the best part was, he was almost a borderline alcoholic at points. As you had the introduction to the AOS campaign, where you all went for drinks with Barty's uncle. Of course, Tony Smog's favourite drink was brandy.
Yep.
Absolutely wasted. And next morning, he just collapsed on the bed, and Jane wakes up, opens up an eye, and Tiny Smog's like, "Unsummon me, you monster!" He's like, "What?" He's like, "Unsummon me, it'll get rid of the hangover." Because that's what we established, where hangovers do not exist in the Feywilds. When it comes to another point, well, I think one of the reasons people don't want to get attached, don't want to build personalities onto a familiar, or even the Beastmaster Ranger's animal companion, is that they get attached, it dies, and then, well, yeah, no point getting attached to your animal companion or whatever. It's going to die in 5 minutes, then you've got to go build a whole new one. I think we came up with a good way of working around that, in the fact that all of the ones in our game are, even if they change form, it's the same spirit. All of the creatures we've used so far in our games have been from the Feywilds. So when Tiny Smog or later on Maple died in combat, they didn't really die. They were dismissed until resummoned.
It's
so
Paladin horses as well. Paladin horses, the same sort of premise. We I had Barty had Maximilian, and he came out in different forms when we went to different areas, and he always came back as himself. He was always the same character.
So that way you don't have to worry too much about loot. Of course, if we want to change it up, we can. So, but if it's easy to do that, it's very easy to do with creatures like pseudo dragons and most animal creatures. Just have them coming from the Feywilds. We can also do it with imps and various other things from any of the other planes. You can have the imp come from the Nine House. It's always the same imp, whether you like it or not. That imp could be a massive pain in the arse. And he always comes back. You're not getting another one. And if you come back, and if you change your mind, you want an owl instead, that was a pain in the arse owl instead of an imp.
Could even be an imp.
You lose so many but you lose so many opportunities of not building them. Tiny Smog is greedy for treasure. Maple like to eat out of the garbage. People want initiative once or twice. Red Hand of Doom, you were in the village with the Chimera, and Syrup was the familiar, not Maple. And Syrup's initiative came up and went, so 20 feet away from the tavern while the Chimera is ripping it apart, she hears the whistle of Maple and pulls her head out of the nearby rubbish bin that she was eating out of. What does she do? We had Mordy, the flying cat, who always kept getting stuck up trees.
He was getting scared because he didn't quite know how to get back down again, even though he had bat wings.
Well, it's a cat. I don't think we've ever really established what Mordy is, other than a bat cat. Actually, I think Ty's justification with it was a spell that had gone. He tried the Find Familiar spell and it had gone slightly awry. He hadn't quite worded it right. So it was just something like he was trying to summon a cat and then he saw a bat. And it kind of interrupted his brain. He's like, get away, bat! No, cat! And then this weird abomination black cat with bat wings was kind of appeared. Yeah. But if you don't build on those familiars or beast master companion, you really are missing out. We can appreciate it takes a lot of trust from a player to give to a DM to allow them a certain amount of control. But if you've got a reasonable, in the end, I took a lot of artistic liberties with Tiny Smog. He did occasionally steal some of the treasure. He did occasionally bugger off and do his own thing. But the amount of extra abilities that were given to him compensated for that. He had extensive magical knowledge. He knew dragons. He knew a ton about dragons. Any checks that you required just before you faced the blue dragon in Aeos, Tiny Smog was able to give you a complete rundown on blue dragons and provide you valuable insight into it. He even got a breath weapon.
Yeah.
It was only a D8 damage, but it was something interesting. You can provide a lot of memorable moments for your players in just doing that. Always take it up with your players. Not all players are going to go for it. It's not for everyone. But if you can trust the DM to do it, then it's worth looking into. So I think I'll always, in fact, I think Tiny Smog's my favourite PC from that game. Well, all the players in all the PCs in that game were memorable in their own way. But I think the one that made me laugh the most was always Tiny Smog. Mainly because I like to laugh at my own jokes. So, highlight of the video: red dragons. Now this is the archetypical monster of D&D. It's on everything.
It's on the DM screens, it's on some of the books that they get and release, and it's been an icon since first edition, I'm sure.
It was on the cover of the Red Box. These are amazing creatures. It's kind of a shame because you see them thrown out far too regularly, in my opinion. They kind of lose their weight when they're used, especially the way a lot of newer DMs try to use them. These are greedy, nasty creatures.
They all have personalities, and each personality is completely different. I think that's something that gets overshadowed by the sheer strength that they have and the ability that they have to TPK even high-level parties. But it's definitely role-playing a dragon in now. I reckon it's definitely worthwhile too.
I think a lot of the dragons have really high intelligence, and how someone of average intelligence meant to think on that level. And these are beings that are some thousands of years old. They know more than they'll forget more than you'll ever know in their lifetime. But red dragons, specifically, these are nasty. Black dragons tend to be more cruel and vindictive. Green dragons tend to plot. White dragons are more bestial. Blue dragons can generally be pandered to, and actually, in some circumstances, don't actually make bad neighbours because they just like being in charge of places. But the sheer greed of a red dragon is something really needs to be played up. Got to refer to my notes quickly.
That's fine. I've finally incorporated into my game a red dragon. My characters don't actually know it yet, but my red dragon has gotten so clever and so intelligent that he's actually realised that the most effective way for him to increase the size of his horde is to actually hire people to go out and gain money for them in the form of businesses. So this one set up a loan sharking ring.
You don't want to miss that fucking payment.
You don't want to miss that payment. So
Rape swell.
they've hired the dragon has hired a shark, an actual shark, to be a loan shark, and this thing is going out and he's making vast percentage of interest on all of these things, and if you don't make the payments, you turn into a snack. But that's the limit, the extent that a dragon would go to acquire what they desire the most.
One of the best things about the red dragons, and generally comes from their greed. They just want more cash. Some of the older lore in D&D says red dragons know exactly how many gold pieces are in their hoard, and they regularly count it. If they find one piece missing, they fly into a rage and they go demolish the nearest town. These things are machines. You cannot throw one of these things around lightly. No dragon should be thrown around lightly. They need to be played intelligently. I think one of the best quotes I've heard about red dragons is I heard this. I told you about this one yesterday. That if a red dragon thinks it has the biggest horde around, it just kind of sits in its cage silently congratulating itself on how great it is, and if it doesn't, then it just goes on an utter tear. Red dragons, they don't even fear or respect other red dragons. They're cannibalistic. The only treasure they value is the one that's worth the most. A lot of other dragons have preferential treasure. Blues like treasures that's visually appealing to them. Greens like treasure. They like people. They like to be able to control and influence people. But red dragons are all about the bottom line, and they'll do anything to protect that bottom line. You can imagine in your game, you got the PCs going out there. They're acquiring businesses for them. At some point, they're going to think, "Hold on, we can just do this on our own. We don't need." Then the PCs know they're working for the red dragon.
The PCs aren't working for it. There's NPCs that are the loan sharks.
So it's kind of like a structured. So eventually they're going to think, no, we can take these guys. And then you get that good campaign reveal of where a red dragon turns up on their doorstep and burns their house to the ground. And they realise they fucked with the wrong person.
Yeah, they're definitely nothing to take lightly. If you get complacent with them, they're going to let you know who's in charge.
I think what you see a lot of nowadays is the dragon lands, and that engages the party in a fair fight. They do have a lot of hit points. Adult red dragon 256, but that's going to go down quick to a bunch of level 8 or 9 PCs, especially if they're going in there fresh. They've got all their spell slots, they've got all their attacks. That thing can go down in seconds. The dragon needs to fight smart. It can't just land. It can't take that kind of damage for very long. It's maybe got 3 or 4 rounds if it's lucky.
Yeah.
If the party are going in there fresh, it needs to be up in the air. A party's worst nightmare should be facing a dragon on open ground. If you've got no cover around with you, those players should be running for their life. A red dragon coming at you, what are you going to do? Run into the forest? It'll burn the forest down. You run to the town, it'll burn the town down.
These things are vindictive. They don't take any quarters. If you get on their wrong side, they are going to get you one way or the other.
And I used one just at the end of Rise of Tiamat. The players had managed to close the portal very quickly and very anticlimactically. I restaged where this encounter took place. I homebrewed the castle. I really did a lot of Rise of Tiamat. I really didn't like it. So they fight their way up to the top of the castle. They close the gate, and they're pretty beaten to hell at this point. And an adult red dragon comes down and kind of splits off the party. They just almost killed their copper dragon ally, and then proceeds to almost wipe out the group of 4 level 15 PCs. It was played intelligently. It didn't just stand there so the paladin could smite it and the rogue could sneak attack it. It flew around. It used its breath weapon. A lot of the ways you can generally clever ways to use, well, maybe clever ways, very simple ways to use these dragons is they've got a flight speed of 8 feet. So just on its turn, have it fly up 80 feet. Next turn, send 40. So let's just say it's 100 feet. Let's just start it up at 60 feet in the air. But its breath weapon has got a range of 60 feet. Have it 60 feet up. Breath weapon, fly up 80 feet. It's 140 feet in the air. Most things aren't hitting it. It's out spell range. I think at that range, I'm not sure. Is short bows and long bows out? I think short bows might be attacking disadvantage.
150 feet on a long bow, 300 with maximum with disadvantage.
But they can be out of the range of most things at that point. And that's why they're so terrifying over open ground. And even in the lair actions are something to worry about. These are smart creatures. If it's one of the things that you do if you're a red dragon is maybe you don't want to fight the party while you're in while they're going in. Maybe a smart thing to do would be to wait outside your lair for the party, let them go in, mess with all your minions, kobolds, cultists, loan sharks, and on their way out, breath weapon the hell out of them. And then you got them trapped. They don't want to take a long rest in there. Dragon can't turn back up any second. A red dragon should evoke fear and a fear response from the party. These are legendary creatures, and if your party can beat one, they should receive fame and glory beyond belief. Because these are your these are your dragons that all legends are based on, about the dragon that kidnapped the princess or prince in our more PC age. These are the dragons. This is the monster at the end of the book.
Yeah.
This is the one that you can have. This is the one you can have from level 1 to level 20, and they are so diverse and interesting. I'll bring up one of my favourite ones in a second. That they have that kind of length in them.
Yeah.
But one of my favourite ones that I read up on a little while ago from Forgotten Realms is Cloth, which are known as Old Snarl, and he is an ancient red dragon that resides in the Clothian Vale. And I read up on it and loved it. He's an ancient red dragon who's lived well beyond the life expectancy of any red dragon by performing necromantic rituals on red dragon wormlings to extend his own life. No one goes into this valley. Everything he sees is his. No one dares go into this valley because they will be killed immediately. There's like a big exclusion zone, and I assume marked with charred corpses.
Yeah.
It looks really good. Yeah, because on his wings he's got mounted wands, and he's magically bound. It's a wand of fireball and a wand of thunderbolts, and he can use them as he's in the air. You know, you want to surprise the party. It wouldn't be unreasonable for many older dragons to be able to do something like this. They're not stupid creatures.
And they're magically refined creatures too. I mean, these things have such high attunement to the realms of magic.
Yeah. Now, if you really want to surprise a party, give them that wand of thunderbolts on their wing, and when they turn up with a load of fire resistance, boom! Nuke them with the wand. The suggestions that are put in with the monster manual, creature stats wise, that's the suggestion. The hit points, that's the average. There are stronger varieties. That is your the 256 hit points on an adult red dragon. That's your if you can have an average red dragon. There are stronger ones. One of the things I really struggled with when I first started DMing was changing what's in there. But we'll just sum up quickly now. Don't worry about what's changing stuff in the book. Right? You get this, you buy this with your money, this is yours now. You do what you like with it. Chris Perkins, Mike Miles, Jeremy Crawford, they're not going to come knocking on your door at your house and tell you you're playing the game wrong. As long as you're having a good time. I don't want people to think I go around trying to kill my players. Like, Carl, when was the last time I killed you?
Not very often. You have never killed me. You killed me once, and that was against an adult blue dragon.
Killed, not knocked out.
No, you killed it.
Oh, whoops.
I had the dwarf.
I forgot about that one. In 18 months, I've killed 5 players. Well, 5 PCs. People frown upon me killing players after the first 2. I've killed 5 PCs. 3 of those I killed were the same guy, and he's still alive.
One of them was yourself.
No, I didn't count that one.
Oh, you didn't count that one.
That was a story right off on my part. One was Lyra with the shadows. Her strength score got dropped to 0.
Yep.
One was your fighter, who got wiped out by a almost ancient blue dragon, which is an adult blue dragon I buffed up. And 3 were Drake. Yeah, and 3 were Drake, who is still alive. I might like to add.
Yeah, he does always seem to come back. It's like a lingering smell.
It's like herpes, you just cannot get rid of him. But, I mean, a lot of people when they're running monsters like these, they make they make the mistake of trying to be vindictive with the monster, and also a lot of players can sometimes get very upset when the DM attacks, and they take it personally. Like I Cole, am attacking you.
Yeah.
You know, boom, I don't like you very much anymore. Slap. But great stories are always based, on struggle. Lord of the Rings would not have been half as interesting if all Frodo had to do was throw the One Ring into his fireplace. One of the mottos I've had while DMing was, I want you to win. I want my players to win. I'm rooting for them to win. But I'm not just going to let you win.
People don't enjoy walking through and just skipping past everything, killing everything just instantaneously. As you said, great stories are born from struggle. You need to almost kill people for them to really appreciate what's going on around them.
Just kill them a little bit.